Hi, I'm Imu Jang from Samsung Electronics in South Korea. Particularly, I'm with Environment and Safety Research Center, where our team is looking at utilizing robotics and AI technologies for infrastructure monitoring and inspection. Today, I'm here to talk about one of the ongoing works, which is about change detection in UAV images for industrial infrastructure rooftop monitoring, particularly for semiconductor fabrication plant. Before I go into the details of this project, I would like to give you a quick overview of how a semiconductor fabrication plant works and what this project is about. A semiconductor fabrication plant consists of something called main fab and sub fab. As you can see in the video footages, a main fab is the location where semiconductor products are actually being manufactured, and the majority of its process have already been automated by utilizing various robotics technologies. On the other hand, its sub-fab is a location with a variety of supporting equipment for the main fab, such as pump and scrubber and etc. There are also other buildings or locations that support the main fab, such as a location for delivering chemical materials to the main fab and a location for treating wastewater and so on. Except for the fabrication plant, we refer to all of this area as infrastructure. Tasks in this area are time-consuming, messy, and even dangerous. For example, human workers are inspecting and monitoring each piece of equipment, which takes a long time given the large number of pieces of equipment and the scale of the facility. Human workers also handle poisonous chemicals and operate at height, which are examples of dangerous duties performed in the infrastructure area. As a result, Samsung Electronics launched a new organization called the Environment and Safety Research Center around 3 years ago, with one of its goals being to use robotics and AI technology to improve worker safety and minimize these laborious and unpleasant activities. Our employees are concerned about these tedious and dirty tasks because these are not what they wanted to do for their professional development. We also aim to reach zero accident in our workplaces ultimately. Given this context, one of our initiatives was to use commercial UAVs to inspect the rooftop of fabrication plant. We find that using UAVs for this purpose is really beneficial because manual rooftop inspection is neither practical nor desirable. As you can see in the upper right photo, our plants are quite large. However, we can only reach a small portion of the rooftop using the available access point. As a result, in order to manually inspect every region of the rooftop, we may require special safety equipment to avoid potential fall accidents. And even with that, this operation is officially classified as dangerous. UAVs, on the other hand, can fly over any location we want to inspect, and thanks to the autopilot capability, we were also able to shoot aerial photographs in an automated manner. However, human workers were still required to discover anomalies in the photos. This job is very time consuming given the number of photographs captured by the UAVs. This manual inspection may also involve human errors. Therefore, we aim to develop an automated anomaly detection method for UAV images. At first, we tried to utilize deep learning technique for this problem directly. However, we learned that it is not as straightforward as it appears. For example, in properly functioning factories, it is difficult to collect labeled data in practice because abnormal cases are uncommon. Within unsupervised learning method, many of the existing work, such as reconstruction-based method, were built and tested for relatively simple objects, not for large-scale complicated objects like infrastructure rooftop tangled with a variety of pipes and equipment and so on. As a result, we divided the original problem into two sub-problems. The first one being change detection problem, and the second one being out of distribution classification. Given existing images and a newly taken image, we aim to detect notable changes from the new image in the change detection process. However, it does not mean that all the images are abnormal. Some of them are actually what normally happen. Therefore, in the second problem, using the detected changes as training data, we aim to develop a neural network that can classify what is the thing that we have not seen before. Then the unseen change can be classified as abnormal. In this work, we address the first part of the problem as a building block. For each point given a new image from a UAV, this method firstly generates a pixel-wise different image between the new image and the old image that was captured at an earlier time. However, before that, we need to have some pre-processing, which firstly extract thermal images and RGB images as we were using an infrared thermal imaging UAV. And secondly, based on the extracted RGB images, we also need to have an image alignment process. This is because even though the UAV was able to fly along with a pre-planned path, but due to the GPS localization error, aerial images for the same spot are slightly misaligned. Here we assume that for each waypoint, we already have a reference RGB image which is then used for the image alignment process. Then after some of the other minor processes, images are ready for its main process. However, even with the image alignment process, there still remains certain residual misalignment. This is because the homography matrix assumption, which was used for the image alignment process, is not entirely valid for the aerial images being used. As a result, in the main loop, we have an extra filtering procedure that removes long edges, which are a common representation of residual misalignment. Then, for each pixel, we get a color distance measurement by using a weighted color distance. Lastly, we have a local refinement process, which additionally removes residual errors. Then, finally, we get a pixel-wise different image. Given such a pixel-wise different image, the next step is to find hotspot candidate. Basically, this procedure simply crops a small area that includes the greatest pixel value and utilize it. Then repeat this process. We consider these cropped images as hotspot candidate. Then the next step is to determine whether there have been any significant changes amongst the hotspot candidates. If you have a look at these candidates, you can see that the candidates obtained in the later iterations are not actually meaningful. Therefore, we categorize the candidate into three groups based on the highest pixel value for each candidate by using k-means clustering and utilize the minimal centroid value as a criterion to distinguish true changes. We constructed a server system based on the change detection algorithm, which consists of a Python backend for the change detection and a React-based frontend for its user interface so that every company colleague can see the change detection result on their desks. We set up mock-up experiments to evaluate the system, which include fake smoke, water leak, and a pipe crack. These three conditions are extremely important to us in terms of health and safety, as well as the operation of our facilities. Using our system, we were able to detect the smoke and the water leak successfully, as you can see in the result. Unfortunately, however, the pipe crack was not detectable since the amount of change in the image was too little compared with the other minor changes in the image. We conducted some extra feasibility tests in order to improve our method even further. The first thing is that when it comes to detecting pipe cracks, we found that adding a segmentation technique for pipe object makes it possible to detect the crack. Secondly, by using a UAV with GPS RTK, we can greatly increase the precision of the change detection method. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and watching this video. Apart from this project, we are working on other robotics projects for infrastructure inspection and maintenance. We are also expanding our team and looking for new members. So please contact me if you are interested in these types of robotics projects and joining Samsung. Thank you very much.